Hey, I get it. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling, looking at dozens of outdoor speaker sets and wondering if any of them actually live up to the hype. You don't want to toss a few $100s into a patio setup that ends up sounding like a tin can in the wind, or worse, a speaker that quits the moment the first summer storm rolls in. You need to know whether these Polk Audio Atrium 6 speakers are worth slotting into your backyard, your deck, or that tiny balcony garden you've been dreaming of turning into a mini concert hall. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break this down from a practical standpoint. First, the Atrium 6-pack is marketed as all-weather, which means they're built to handle rain, heat, dust, and even the occasional bird dropping. The cabinets are cast-iron coated, and the driver's 5.25-inch woofers paired with 1-inch aluminum dome tweeters are designed to stay clear of moisture. In real life, that translates to a speaker that you can leave out year-round without worrying about cracking or the sound degrading after a summer thunderstorm. If you're the kind of person who loves spontaneous BBQs and wants the music to keep playing while the rain comes down, that durability is a real advantage. Now, who should actually consider these? If you already have an existing outdoor audio system and need a simple, cost-effective way to add more zones, the 8-pack gives you a lot of flexibility. You can install 2 speakers per wall, or spread them around a large patio to get a fairly even sound field without investing in a full-blown professional setup. Homeowners who enjoy streaming movies on an outdoor screen, or who host weekend gatherings with a playlist that runs from folk to funk, will find the coverage pretty solid. The speakers are also a decent match for renters who want a semi-permanent solution that can be taken down without damaging a balcony rail. Just the right amount of size and mounting options for a small space. On the flip side, if you're a true audiophile looking for crystal clear highs and deep, precise bass, or if you're planning to fill a massive open-air venue, the Atrium 6 might feel a bit underpowered. The 5.25-inch woofers are great for a mid-size patio, but you'll notice a lack of punch in the low end when you crank the volume for a house party. Also, because these are designed primarily for durability, the enclosure isn't as refined acoustically as a high-end outdoor speaker from a boutique brand. If you're hunting for that audio filigrade transparency, you'll probably be looking at a higher price bracket. Talking about installation, these speakers come with standard mounting brackets, and the included hardware makes it relatively painless to bolt them into a deck railing or a wall mount. I've seen a couple of DIYers use the provided brackets to create a perimeter setup, placing 4 speakers on each side of a rectangular patio. The result is a fairly balanced stereo image that fills the space without any obvious dead zones. The downside is that you'll need a decent amplifier or receiver that can handle 8.8 ohm loads, or a couple of pair-wired configurations. That's an extra cost you need to budget for if you don't already have an outdoor amp, because the speakers themselves don't include a built-in amplifier. One practical strength that often gets overlooked is the weatherproof grille. Unlike some outdoor speakers that rely on removable grills that can get clogged with leaves, the Atrium's grille is integrated and sealed. In practice, that means less maintenance, no need to constantly clean out the mesh after a windy day. A few reviewers have mentioned the peace of mind that comes from knowing the speaker will keep playing through a light drizzle without any crackling or dropout. For a family that likes to have a splash party for the kids, that's a small but appreciated detail. A practical weakness shows up if you're trying to blend these speakers into a high-end home theater system. The tweeter is a 1-inch aluminum dome, which does a good job of cutting through ambient noise, but it can also sound a tad bright when paired with larger indoor speakers that have more extended highs. The result can be a little tonal mismatch. Your outdoor zone will sound more forward and present compared to the rest of the house. If you plan to run the same source to both indoor and outdoor speakers, you might need to use separate EQ settings or accept the tonal shift when you step outside. Another thing to consider is wiring. Because the set includes 8 speakers, you'll be running a fair amount of speaker wire across the outdoor space. If you have a clean-looking deck, you'll want to conceal the wires with conduit or use surface mount raceways. That adds a modest amount of labor. However, if you're already planning a renovation or a deck makeover, you can integrate the wiring at the same time and keep the whole setup tidy. The speakers themselves are fairly lightweight for their size, so they won't stress the mounting points even on